In this video, we're going to walk you through how to prepare an offer in our standard agreement of purchase and sale. Say, for example, our client finds a property and has instructed us to put an offer. Let's dive into it. The first thing we're going to do is pull up the MLS. So for the purposes of this training, we're going to put an offer on 155 Gamma Street listed for $849,000. So once we have the MLS listing for reference, we log into our dashboard and we create transaction. For the name, we put 155 Gamma Street. For the template, we want to do selling side sale. And when we input this, what happens is all the forms that are necessary to complete the buyer's side of the transaction is already going to be automatically displayed for you. You don't have to look for it. Import data, go to Toronto, since the listing is a Toronto Real Estate Board. We're going to go freehold property, and we go back here and we copy and paste the MLS listing. And we paste it here and hit create. As you can see, all the details have been automatically inputted, and we simply hit next. For the transaction date, we hit next. For the contacts, we hit next. And for the forms, as you see, all the forms that are necessary to complete this transaction and the forms necessary that is needed by the office is already here. And for the purposes of this training, we're just going to work on the agreement of purchase and sale residential. So let's go ahead and click that. Now let's go ahead and prepare this offer. We type the date here, we just click it. The buyer, we put the buyer's name in there. You see 155 Gamma Street, Toronto. It's fronting on. You're going to see here. That's where you see it. It's fronting on the east side. So we go fronting on the east side of Gamma Street. Property is located in the city of Etobicoke. Frontage, legal description has already been there. The purchase price, we're going to put $800,000. And we're going to do upon acceptance, not herewith, because it's not a multiple offer situation. And the sellers can wait for their deposit for 24 hours, which is in the contract. Deposit, we put 40,000 deposit. And it's payable to Brad J. Lamb Realty Brokerage. We can just copy and paste that. Most likely there's a Schedule B. If there is, type B. Irrevocable, it will always be to the buyer. If we are the one putting an offer, if there's a sign back, it will be irrevocable to the seller. So we put the time. We'll just click this. Usually 24 hours is a good irrevocable time, but that would depend on the transaction. For the closing date, we put August 1st. Notices, you can really skip this part because you have the email address or the contact information when you're doing a deal with the listing or with the listing brokerage. Shadows included, what are included in the purchase price. So for this transaction, it would be the existing fridge, stove, washer, dryer, dishwasher, all window coverings, and all electrical light fixtures. Fixtures included, sometimes they want to take the chandelier in the hallway. This is where you want to put it. Rental items, it's always the hot water tank. Now you see the furnaces and the air conditioning, but those are very big items and we want to perhaps negotiate that, most especially in this market, and we'll have the seller buy them out. But for the rental items, hot water tank, if it's not a rental, don't worry about it. It's not going to harm the deal. HST is always included in a residential transaction. If it's commercial, it will be in addition to. Title search is always 15 days before the closing date. So July 15, since we have an August 1st closing date. And for its use, whether it's a freehold property or a condominium, it is a single family dwelling. These are pre-printed clauses that don't harm the seller and the buyer. Let's just ask our buyer if they have time to read anything there in detail. And if there's any questions, they can ask us. And what clauses in here, it's not necessary to repeat it in the Schedule A because it's already in here. This is the signature page where everyone's going to sign. And the Schedule A is where we're going to put the clauses. So once you hit this, you'll see this icon come up, add clause. Now there's 3 options where you can find your clauses. If you haven't organized your web forms with the clauses that you always use, then you're gonna have to go to System Clauses, where the system has all the clauses that you need. Okay, for the purposes of this training, we're going to go to my personal clauses because I've already taken the time to organize the clauses that I usually use, my standard clauses. My standard clauses that I use would be the appliances. It would be the buyer visitation clause, which they have 2 prior to the closing date. Condition on financing for 5 days. The conditional offer is back. Home inspection. Pay the balance of purchase price. And seller discharge clause. If it's a condominium, I would add the standard certificate clause, but since it's a building lot, we're not going to add that. And the visitation, they have the right to visit the property twice. I think it probably got redundant, but that's okay. And with the okay, and you see all the clauses are already here. And if you just want to clean that up and put these 2 on top, that would be okay, but it's not necessary. It's just much easier on the eye. The clauses, again, it's all going to depend on what your client needs. But if there's any clauses that have to be put pertaining to property, this will go on in Schedule A. Now we have completed this agreement of purchase and sale. What we can do is save. But if we're going to put it at next one, input it, we're going to have to save as PDF. Okay. Because find a folder that's easy to be referenced, because we're going to have to load the PDF file to our next one, electronic signature system. And once that's saved in a nice file folder, then that is ready for signatures for our client. And that's how you prepare a standard agreement of purchase and sale. If any of you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Remax Realty One Inc. training, and we will be there to assist you. We will see you at the next video.